And we're back. Last time, we got this neat-ass hammer that destroys armor with every hit. So, this was a really clutch weapon to get right off the bat. I just completely passed by and went home. Where did that fire come from? I heard fire. Okay, this is... Oh. So this is another grotto. This one is a pretty good place to find, because I am fairly confident. Okay, I know I'm hearing fire. Well, obviously not. I don't mean the fire in my hand. I mean like someone casting fireball. So this is a good grotto to find. Because one, I'm pretty sure the mirror shield of the Great Sea, or the one from Wind Waker, is in here. And two, this is where you get to Ganon's castle at the end of the mod. The only problem is, I currently do not have water breathing, and that area is like 90% underwater. So, I can be able to go through that. The wolves found me right as I put my weapon away. This thing is nuts. This was an insanely good thing to find right off the bat. I can also find like fire, ice, and light arrows, or technically silver arrows, I think they are. But you only get 3 of them every time you find them, and I've never really used them. I think the fire arrows might be nice on the dwarven centurions, since not just the centurions, like all of them. So I'm pretty sure they're weak to fire. I don't know what the ice arrows would be good on, since I don't really use frost. Oh look, it's Maik. Pretty sure that's Maik. Yeah, it's Maik.
Mike does not understand what is so impressive about shouting. Mike can shout whenever he wants.
Maik's cool. What's with all the wolves? I'm gonna want to head to Whiterun though, and make my way through Bleak Falls Barrow, since that's where you can get Link's tunic, and like his boots and gloves and shit. It's just a really good starting defensive thing for light armor. Plus, I'm gonna be using tunics pretty much the entire time. Well, at first, I'm gonna be using the Yiga gear, since it's just really good. But then after I unlock being able to upgrade enchanted items, I'll pretty much just be using tunics.
Yes? Where do you want to go? Climb and back and we'll be off.
How much money do I have? Not a lot.
Never been to Whiterun before? The Jarl's Palace is something to see. Dragon Search, they call it. Big old dragon skull hanging on the wall.
Now, I'm going to run through Bleak Falls Barrow without doing, without like actually starting up the quest that says I need to, because I need to go to Helgen for that. But, I'm still just gonna run through it, because there's nothing stopping you from going through the entirety of the dungeon.
High Eastmere, it's true. A jester,
Oh yeah,
funny
I have a mod that
snob,
restores cut
destroyed
content,
by the Loria's
and this
farm.
conversation is
Who
one
had
of
a
the
coffin
things.
in a cart with a broken wheel.
Like the
Let's
first
see,
time you
laughed his
travel to
way out of
Whiterun,
that.
you're actually supposed to find out about Cicero, but they just don't. They just don't tell you. I got the stables. That's all that's important for now. What's my carry weight? I still got plenty of carry weight. Damn, what's the damage this maze has at base? 20? Holy crap. What, what maze starts with 20? I want to say like ebony. Is this thing as strong as an ebony mace? And I just found it right off the bat? That's nuts. Definitely gonna make this pretty easy to begin with. However, the end is going to be insanely difficult. Because even with the broken ass shit you can get at the end of the Relics of Hyrule mod, like there is a sword you can get that every swing heals you like 30 points of HP, stamina, and magicka. And if you wear a certain ring, it shoots out explosive discs. And that sounds broken. And it is very broken and can turn most normal fights into a cakewalk. Like I used it on Mirak, and he stood no chance. Like, he didn't even bring my health under 10%. It was nuts. But then you get to the bosses they throw at you in the Zelda mod, and it's like, okay, I can see why these weapons are so broken, because they're nuts. Like you get the fire rod at the end of well, there's 3 overworld dungeons that lead to and you need to beat all 3 in order to get to this Zelda specific extra world area that has like 18 other dungeons in it. You need to beat all 3 of those to get there. And at the end of the base, like the way they're based are one's based on kind of just like one's goal is to get the Ocarina of Time, and like you go through like this kind of like a water temple, like including how much it kind of sucks, because I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of cool boss fights and shit in there. It's just that dungeon, I really don't like it. But then there's the Majora's Mask dungeon, which you pretty much just go through Majora's Mask. You fight the 4 guardians, then you go fight a Priest of Majora, and he actually has Majora's Mask. And then you can upgrade it and get essentially what is the Wabbajack on steroids. Where like you can turn people into chickens. You can just kind of blow them up. I think one of the spells even like can turn people into a dragon.
I want my...
It's insane. The bad thing is about it though is if you want to take it off, which you don't really have all that many reasons to take it off, granted. It doesn't let you. Like it talks to you, and it will say like when you kill something, it will like talk about how red his blood is, and if you try and take it off, it will say like don't leave me. And if you try and take it off enough times, it will get pissed at you and be like, I'm never leaving now, or some shit. Like it's pretty messed up. And the only way to remove it is to wear the Fierce Deity mask. But you can get the full Fierce Deity set. Like you don't just get the mask and then poof, you Fierce Deity like in Majora's Mask. You actually have to find like the full set. Like you need his armor, his gloves, his hat, his mask, his boots. I think you also need a specific ring. But then once you do, you get this insane set bonus. Like it gives you 85% thorns. So 85% of the damage you take is also being dealt to enemies. Well, melee damage, not magic damage. Okay. Where are this? There they are. Where's the third one? There it is. Getting this hammer. Dude, getting this hammer was so good. Alright, let's go, spider. It's staggering on regular hits. This thing is nuts. It reduces armor, it staggers on normal hits, it does a shit ton of damage. It just one-shot that guy on expert. Normally it takes like 2 or 3 swings. I don't need to worry about upgrading it with enchantments because it already has enchantments. I also think this might be the strongest version of this weapon because sometimes after you get a weapon, you can take it to a certain kind of enchanting table that's part of the mod. And you can enhance it further. Like you can get the Ordon sword, and then you can upgrade it to the honed Ordon sword, which takes it from being as strong as a steel mace but swing as fast as a steel sword, to I think being as strong as an ebony mace. Granted, you do need to like level up smithing and shit to be able to use it properly, but it's worth it. You do also need to find some really rare items for some of the upgrades. Like to get a mirror shield working, before you would just find the shield and you had the mirror shield and it reflects all magic back at wherever you're aiming. So like what it does is it completely blocks the spell and then acts as if you casted the spell. So you can even like get magic levels up from using the shields. And before you would just find it and have it, but now you need now when you find it they're broken and you need to fix it with certain items that actually come in pretty late into the mod, which is fair considering the shields are really good. So if you know where one is, just being able to go and grab it at the beginning of the game is kind of overpowered. So it was a good balance. I just don't know what shield I'm going to be using because there's like 8 different mirror shields. And normally I either go with the Mirror Shield of the Great Sea, which is the Wind Waker one, or the Mirror Shield of the Desert, which is the Ocarina of Time one. Usually go with one of those two. But there are other ones. There's like the Mirror Shield from A Link to the Past, which is just kind of like a gold mirror. I think there's the Silver Shield, which works as a Mirror Shield. I don't know. There's a lot of shields and shit. And I'm definitely going to pick some of them up. Well, I'm gonna try and get as many Zelda items as I can, honestly. Look at that. So much of a massive jump in damage just from being able to completely destroy all of their armor. This thing is nuts. It's so good. This was definitely running through that first dungeon. Where'd you go? There you are. I forgot I don't have autosave on. Because whenever I play with autosave, it usually corrupts my save files. So I just play with manual save, and I usually try and save every time I enter a dungeon. And every time I exit the dungeon. Sometimes if I'm just doing quests and it ends up like taking a long time to get through a dungeon, I just kind of skip it. So good, dude. This, I know I'm going nuts for this mace, but it is definitely, god damn it, I wasn't paying attention. It is definitely worth going nuts over. That's way too far. There we go. Did I pick up the key? Okay, yeah, I did. So what those small keys are is if you get a small key in like a regular, oh, I didn't upgrade the perk. If you get a small key in like a regular dungeon, what it will do is it means there's a chest that is locked, obviously, and normally that chest has like one of the tunics in it, or something equally as good. If you get a small key in one of the Zelda dungeons, it means you need to open a door. So you know, just normal Zelda shit. I think there are still small keys in those dungeons for chests, but they're mainly for doors in these Zelda-specific dungeons. I love this glitch where you're using magic as you perform a melee kill move, and the magic kind of just freaks out in your hand. And then, like, as soon as you use it, it goes back to normal. I've done Bleak Falls Barrel, I've done it quite a bit. I mean, I think everyone who's played Skyrim at this point has cleared out Bleak Falls Barrel probably a handful of times, really. Because you're pretty much forced to do it right away at the beginning. Like, to the point where it's not even really worth exploring the overworld until after you complete it, just because it's what spawns in the dragons. The dragons, even if you don't need them for their scales and bones, they still get you some good shit. Like, all of the shouts. Alright, let's go. This mace is so good. I don't think I've ever seen that guy have a battle axe. Oh, right, I should put on the Zelda shit. Yeah, for one, it's just better defensively than what I was wearing. But two, now I'm Link. Kind of. It's a lot of the stuff in this mod is modeled after Twilight Princess, which that was a good call. I really think if you're gonna pick the designs to model them after like one specific game's art direction, Twilight Princess would definitely be the way to go for bringing all the Zelda shit into Skyrim. Because Twilight Princess and Skyrim have a very similar art direction. It's kind of like all gritty and dark. Well, while I'm here, I might as well grab the Ordon sword. Even though, since I have this hammer, I'm definitely not going to be using it. I might use this hammer until I get the Master Sword, honestly. This thing is nuts. Like, granted, the Master Sword is really good, and there's two paths you can take while upgrading the Master Sword. You can make it light, which will, I think what light does is it adds a bunch of damage effects. Like, I think it adds, shock, fire, and frost damage to the weapon. And if you make it dark, it does, it absorbs magicka, HP, and stamina per swing. So I always go dark. Plus, I think the light beams, like when you make it light,
No need to propagate.
the beams it fires are shock-based or something. Or light-based, like where they do extra damage to undead. But the beams you fire when you make it dark are concussive. So they explode. And I like that. A lot. Alright, I'm gonna go through that place. Actually, I'll find the location so I can just teleport after I do Helgen. Yeah. Because the Deku shield is in there. And I wanna pretty much only be using Zelda items if I can. Oh, right, I should read the note I got. Since it's part of Zelda lore. Well, like Relics of Hyrule lore, I mean. Alright, so this was for the Ordon sword. What is this blade made of? It is steel, certainly, but well forged. The blade looks rough, but I think that is due to age. Handling it is dangerous. I almost cut open my finger. For now I am keeping it aside, but I am sure if I brought it to a talented smith or alteration mage, they could enhance the blade. Would Quicksilver do it? Perhaps some heat? Too hot and it would have to be quenched carefully. That's logical. I am no smith though, so I would not know. So with that saying, I was giving you a hint on how to upgrade the Ordon sword to the enhanced Ordon sword. So what you need is, I think you need level 50 smithing or level 35 alteration. And then you take it to the Termanian Forge. Or I think if you go smithing, you have to take it to the Termanian Forge, which is like over here somewhere. And if you go alteration, you have to take it to the enhanced alteration table, which is in the College of Winterhold. So I'm definitely gonna have to start that quest up too, but I just want to run through some other shit first. Also, and this is entirely because I get the Yiga armor pretty much immediately after starting, because after I go through Helgen, get the Deku shield, kill the dragon, I'm gonna be going to a place to get the Yiga armor, and it's really good armor because it gives you double damage on backstabs and 60% muffle guaranteed. But then the gauntlets and the boots have a chance to have a secondary enchantment on them, and that can be like 20% lockpicking, completely muffle your movement. I think one of them is higher chance to pickpocket, increased carry weight. Just really good enchantments. They can also be enchantment free, which is actually what I want. I want them to be enchantment free though, so I can put my own enchantments on them and just make them more broken. Because with the mod that adds in a bunch of new enchantments, one of them is like movement speed, and you put it on boots and you run faster. So being able to run faster while being completely silent is really good.
There's someone there.
Also though, part of the Dark Brotherhood, you go to a dungeon that has the hover boots in them, and the hover boots they're disgustingly overpowered for sneaking, and they just give them to you in the Dark Brotherhood questline, where sneaking is like Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild sneaking is really important, and they just give you the best boots for sneaking as part of one of those quest lines. Like, I don't know what they were thinking putting those in a dungeon that you have to go through for one of the two sneaking quest lines. But they did. Because what they do is they muffle your footprints, and if you wear them with the Yiga gear, you literally make no sound whatsoever with your footsteps. Like to the point where you yourself can't even hear them, so it just sounds like you're not running at all. But they also give you slight feather fall, so you can drop down from higher areas without dying. But they also give you water walking, so you can walk on the surface of water, and then you can upgrade them twice to increase the feather fall. And if you combine them with the Rocks Cape, you can pretty much jump off of anything and not die. And so those are two really good things. Plus, you need the Rocks Cape at least to get to make this gap in one of the Zelda dungeons. Well, not really a dungeon, one of like little side dungeons, because there are tiny ass little side dungeons, like the grottos, the hidden grottos that I went in with the fairies. One of those has this gap that you either need the Rocks Cape or I think the level 2 hover boots, because I don't think the level 1s give you enough fall time to make the jump. To make this gap though, and then you just go on. So it's cool because this mod not only adds in a bunch of Zelda shit, but it actually adds in like needing items like in Zelda. Alright, here we go. Read this note. This note, it just tells you where the forge is. So northwest to the ancient forge, deep into the pass, follow the Aeon path. So what that is saying is the first part of it was saying, so northwest, directly northwest of where this is the Termanian forge over here. And then deep into the pass, follow the Aeon path. That is the enchanting table. I think it's called Aeon enchanting table actually.
You had best tell the Jarl in Whiterun.
It's in Winterhold in like the midden. I want to get away from them. How's that wolf still see me? I should be able to fight the dragon by the end of this. Like 6 minutes. It would let me just teleport. That wolf being a... Oh wait, no, it's not being detected. It's physical distance. Yeah, so I'm fine. I did have a glitch though one time where I was on the opposite end of the map from this enemy, and they still detected me somehow. So I couldn't sleep or wait or anything. It sucked.
The worms.
I love
Take a look.
fucking Lon Lon Ranch's theme. No. I'll keep the gold ingots. I'll definitely sell that jug, it's worthless. I'll sell the silver. No. 35 lockpicks, that's what I wanted to see. Thank you.
May your road lead you to profitable sand.
I don't know why you run so slow when you put away a weapon mid-sprint. You just do. So now hopefully I'll be able to go back.
City's closed with the fine.
I'll be able to go back
Keeping an eye on it.
to that ice dungeon and get the Yeti tunic, which is the white tunic. So I'll be immune to frost, and then when I'm running through other dungeons and shit, I'll just be able to pop that on, and voila! Draugr's spells can no longer hurt me. I also think melee attacks from Frost Atronachs don't hurt you either.
Pay whatever it takes.
Are you the courier?
We must
No.
have more swords for the Imperial soldiers.
So, go in, listen to a long ass conversation with the Jarl, especially since I already have the Dragonstone, so it's gonna be a lot of standing around listening to people talk, and then go fight a dragon, and then end the episode there, because by the time I fight the dragon, it will definitely be past the 30-minute mark. Seriously though, Lon Lon Ranch's theme is just great. It's so peaceful and calming and catchy.
I only
What is the meaning of this interruption? Well, that explains why the guards let you in.
So, you
Come
were
on, now.
Helga.
The Jarl will want to speak to you.
Your relentless was right.
Information before we act. What do you say
I
now?
forgot I was wearing this thing.
Shall we continue to trust in the strength
Scared the
of
crap
our
out of me.
walls against the dragon?
My lord.
Now, in the grotto I'll be going to after I kill the dragon, there is a follower there. Two followers really, Khajiit and her dog. And the dog follows you, and I'm gonna kill the Khajiit because she gives you a lot of drops. Plus there's a better follower I can get from the mod.
I will not stand idly by while
So
the
it's not
dragon
big.
burns my
I would
home
keep
and
the dog.
slaughters my
I would.
people.
I really want to keep the dog.
Hyrule,
But even if you
send
build a
your
house
to Riverwood
and you
at
tell him to
once.
go to the house, he'll just go back to the grotto. So if you need to like tell him to go
I'll
home
return to my duties.
because you like
That would be best.
because you need to do a mission by yourself
Let's
to
go
like be
find
stealthy,
Skyrim. My court wisdom.
he doesn't.
Make it quick.
You have to go all the way back to the grotto.
Come to Dragon's
Oh wait,
Reach
I have to wait for
discuss
dude to
the
get here.
ongoing hostilities. Like the
Actually,
rest of
while
the
I'm waiting, I
great
should
warriors.
disenchant shit.
You know, you should join the Mages College in Interpol. It seems. Well, when I said straight to the, I go to Bleak Falls Barrow. Ah, the Dragon Stone of Bleak. That.
Following guard.
Yeah, I should probably take that thing off the map. Was that Nazim? Well, look at that. Motherfucker's actually in the Cloud District.
One of the new servants? Remember that I like
says I'm too young to train.
Kid, the only reason you're alive is because this is on expert, and even with this hammer, these guards will annihilate me.
Absurd that you can't cook good sweet rolls in the skeever hole of a city.
Hope this war lasts long enough that I get to fight in it. Battle, glory.
So, Hyrule tells me you came from the Western Watchtower?
Yes, my lord.
You're not from around here.
About the
All
dragon.
right.
Oh, that's right.
Had a little bit of a internal meltdown there.
What did it do? Is it attacking the Watchtower?
Well, this conversation took longer than I thought. I'm gonna have to stop the episode and then go fight the dragon at the start of the next one. With this hammer will make it easy. I just realized I'll be getting Linko's crossbow from the grotto. And Linko's crossbow also ignores armor. So I'll have a melee weapon that ignores armor, and a ranged weapon that ignores armor. So in other words, I'm just disgustingly overpowered already.
Don't fail me. There's no time. I want you to use, but I have. And please, there's no time to
Alright.
stand.
Save. And, whoops. End the episode.